Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making today is a delicious batch of pumpkin carrot walnut muffins. These delicious muffins are available just in time for Halloween, but you can also make them any time of the season. So what we'll do is get started with adding in the ingredients, and I'll tell you what they are as we go. I've had many requests for using maple syrup in some ingredients, and this is another recipe that includes maple syrup, and I'll explain that as well as we go. But what we're going to start with is a half a cup of butter or margarine, and we're going to be using 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. So basically what you're going to do right now is just cream this butter and brown sugar together. You could use a mixer if you like, but I'm just going to use a spoon right now. This is a beautiful fall day here today, and I can hear the birds just whistling out in my garden. So it kind of makes it nice as well. So I'm just going to continue creaming these, and I'll tell you what's next. Okay, so there's not much creaming to the butter and the brown sugar. But getting back to the maple syrup, I've had many requests for recipes with maple syrup, and I've got a few on Bonita's Kitchen right now. As well, this pumpkin recipe, pumpkin muffin recipe, we're using a pumpkin filling. Now, you can make it yourself, and as well on Bonita's Kitchen we got a pumpkin pie there made from scratch, and it shows you how to scoop out, to bake and to scoop out the pumpkin to have it for this or any other recipe. But right now I just got it into my mason jar, and we're going to be using 1 cup of that. So what we'll do now, we'll start adding more ingredients. That's if you want to make it yourself. If not, you can buy it already in the store, and that's a pumpkin filling. Okay, so let's get back to making these muffins. So what we're going to be using is 2 large eggs, and I'm going to break them in a dish just in case the shells or anything else, and we're going to dump them into our mixture. And that's just the butter and the brown sugar there right now. So that's my second egg. I'm going to dump that one in. So we're just going to gradually mix those eggs in with the butter and the brown sugar. And then what I'm going to add next is a half a cup of maple syrup. I'm going to measure it because maple syrup is like maple gold, you know, and we don't want to lose any of that. So that's a half a cup of the maple syrup. Okay, so I hope you're following along and you're excited to make these delicious muffins. So what I'm doing now is measuring again 1 cup of the pumpkin filling or pumpkin sauce. If you made it yourself, that's okay. This is mine. What I do, I make it and then I freeze it. So what we're going to do now is pour that on into the mixture. So all you need to do here now is just blend all of this together, mix it. And again, if you got a mixer or a KitchenAid, it certainly would be a lot faster, but it doesn't matter. You just relax and enjoy making your muffins. So I'm going to mix this together till it's all combined, and then I'm going to show you what's next. Okay, this is coming along nice. So what we got here is 1 cup of shredded carrots, and these are local fresh carrots that we got here. And what I'm going to do is toss this right into our mixture. Okay, so I'm just going to toss these on in. Now this is just 1 cup I got here, but if you want to use 1.5 cups of shredded carrots, or if you don't like carrots, you could leave it out altogether. But surely this is absolutely delicious, and I don't recommend it because you would love it in there. So just stir that on in like that. So what we're going to do now is sift in the dry ingredients. And my I'm using a pumpkin spice, but if you don't have pumpkin spice, you could do a mixture of allspice, or you could do cloves, cinnamon, ginger. But this is 2.5 teaspoonfuls of the pumpkin spice, and it's 2.5 cups of white flour. And if you want to use a wheat flour or a mixture, that's fine. It's 1/2 teaspoonful of sea salt. There's 1 teaspoonful of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoonfuls of baking powder, and 2.5 teaspoonfuls of pumpkin spice. You just put that on in there, and now we're going to sift it on into our batter. This pumpkin spice smells absolutely delicious. It's going up in my nose there, and I just can't wait to have some of these muffins. So that's pretty much all you need to do there, is just sift it all out, make sure you get all the little bits, and that's it. Okay, so all we're doing here now is folding this dry ingredients into our wet ingredients. So we're just going to continue doing that. And then I got 1 cup of chopped walnuts. And again, if you like a different nut in there, or if you don't want any at all, that's entirely up to you. But this is a delicious muffin recipe, so if you like it, just make it just the way it is. So that's 1 cup of crushed walnuts. Now, I like it a little chunkier because I like to have a big piece of walnut. Is my favorite of all nuts. So I'm just going to mix this on in here now, or fold it in, and then I'll reach for my muffin pan, and we'll show you what's next. Okay, we're moving along quite nice there. I was pretty excited for a moment because I had a little taste of the batter. I know they don't recommend that you have a taste of batter, they get egg in it, but I can't resist because it reminds me of when you're just a little child and you're waiting for your mom to finish making the muffins and you take the spoon. So what I'm going to do now, I got a deep muffin pan, and I got some liners. You don't have to use liners, that's entirely up to you. You can just grease your pan and then put the muffin mixture in there, or the batter. But I'm going to line the pan with 2 different types of liners. One that got a little bit creative, some Halloween decorations, and the other one is just a fancy fall one. So I'm going to put that in there, and then I'm going to scoop the batter into those. Now this mixture, you can get anywhere from 12 to 18 muffins. And you say, how did you get 18? But I'm going to be using a little bit more into the bigger ones, and but try to get them as equal as possible, because what happens there, if you don't have the same amount of dough in each one, it don't have equal baking time, because you'll have some that's baked and some that's not. So these are just be a little bit above, and these here I'll try to make them about the same. So after I scoop this into the muffin liners, I'm going to put my oven on a 350-degree heat, and I'm going to set the timer for about 35 minutes, and you can check probably at the 30-minute mark and see if they're ready. If not, keep them in there for the other 5 minutes, or until yours is baked, depending on your oven, I always say. Now these muffins is too good to heat. Okay, so I think I got about enough in there. So if we were using all of the large ones, I'll fill them, let them get really big. But because I got a mixture of the smaller ones and the bigger ones, I don't want to overload it. So as you can see, still a little bit more dough left, and you could make more or make a little loaf. That's entirely up to you. So what I'm going to do now is take these and put them into my oven. And I just told you the time, 350 degrees for 35 minutes or less, or depending on your oven. what we'll do while we're waiting, we'll make the frosting for this, and that frosting is so delicious. And then I got little pumpkins to go on that after, so we're going to really deck these off for Halloween. So meet me back here now to make the icing. So while we're waiting for our muffins to bake, we're going to be making a cream cheese frosting. Now this cream cheese frosting is also going to have maple syrup in it, and is going to have some of the pumpkin filling. So what we'll do is get started with blending together 1 pack of cream cheese, which is 250 grams, and 1/2 cup of butter or margarine. So let's get started. Okay, so that's blended together. So that was 1 pack of cream cheese, 250 grams, and 1/2 block of butter, or 1/2 cup of butter, I should say, and a tablespoonful of that delicious maple syrup. So just pour it on in there, and we're going to be using a tablespoonful of the pumpkin sauce or pumpkin filling. I'm also going to be putting in there 1/2 cup of brown sugar. So what I'm going to do now is start blending this together. So what we got here now is 2 cups of powdered sugar. We're going to pour this on into our mixture. I'm not going to start the blender to puff it all up into the camera. I'll just move it around a little bit just to get it started, and then I'll start the blender. Okay, so pretty much what I'm going to do now is blend all this together, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alrighty, so that is what your cream cheese icing is going to look like, with a delicious maple syrup and your pumpkin filling. So that's all you need to do to make that delicious cream cheese icing, and just look at it, it's so nice and fluffy. So my muffins, they're at 23 minutes, so I'm going to let them bake. I'm going to put this in the fridge and let it cool, clean up a little bit. Meet me back here when the muffins are done, and I'll show you what they look like. Welcome back to Bonita's Kitchen, and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to do now is take our muffins out of the oven. They're baked. Okay, so here they are, absolutely delicious. Let's put them on our cooling rack now. Show you what they look like. What a beautiful smell in here, with all of those pumpkin spices. Of course, I got Raymond's mouth just watering back there, waiting for a muffin.
So if I sings out trick or treat, do I get one of those muffins?
You probably would. Or I might even do a little trick, but right now I'll give him a muffin.
Okay.
So all of these
good.
muffins,
Thank you.
You are welcome. It's pretty hot.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we're one less, but that's okay. So what we're going to do now is let these cool down on our rack, and then I'm going to pull out the cream cheese icing, and I got some little pumpkins that I had picked up at the store to put on top. But like you said, if you want to decorate it, make it a little fancy, that's okay. But these muffins for Halloween or for any time of the season is perfect. So let's let them cool.
Oh,
see how it goes. So we do have to wait for them to cool down, because we don't want to put the frosting over muffins that's warm, because you know what's going to happen. So I got a couple here that I made previously. I'm going to icing these, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to just put a little pumpkin on each one. So I'm just going to give you a little view of this one a little closer. This frosting is almost good just to have, just like that, you know, with nothing else. That's my thought on it anyway. So you just put equal amount of frosting on there. If you want to as well, I'm going to just put a little bit of the pumpkin seasoning pumpkin spice over the top of my muffins, but you can put it directly into about a half teaspoonful into the icing, and it'll be perfect. Just take your little pumpkin then and put on top. And if you're making these for a birthday party, you can put little sprinkles or whatever you want to do. But this is pretty much all I'm going to do for these today.
Can I have some icing and a pumpkin on mine?
You sure can.
Looks so good.
You just don't. You just don't want to have the muffin itself. There you go, Ren. Enjoy.
Thank you.
So this is pretty much all you need to do to make these delicious pumpkin, carrot, walnut muffins. So if you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to see more of our traditional, non-traditional and viewers' requests recipes, just subscribe. Hit the link at the bottom of this video, and as well we will provide the recipe. If you're already one of our subscribers, thank you so much for supporting Bonita's Kitchen, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And you can also visit our website www.bonitaskitchen.com and view our recipes on our Facebook page. And of course here on YouTube. So from our kitchen to yours, thank you for joining us for this episode again today. You have a wonderful day.